Okay, everybody, let me fix the camera right there. I apologize for that, folks. Here, let's get the camera nice and neat there. All right, make sure you guys see my good-looking afro I got going on right there. My name is Jay Dibbitt with the National LiveScan Association. I am the coolest technician around. I want to welcome everybody here to another great session, the 30-second cup for LiveScan.Cafe. And for those out there who have the cups ready, you know, like to sport the Big J cup right there. Don't hate, don't get jealous, just keeping it real. And we have a special guest, a very special guest. We asked her to come on board here, and she was able to make it for the day. So we're humble for her presence for the day. But she has some very good nuggets to share with some folks. And she's from a small country called Sacramento, California. Let's give a big shout out here, if you guys don't mind, to my best of buddies out there. I got a couple of buddies, should I call buddies, so folks don't get jealous. It's Linda Haynes. Linda, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So today is the first we got a chance to actually get the faces with the names. We've been talking for a while. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. And as we promised, we take care of all our members and stuff. I remember we first discussed some phone calls that we had early on. And you joined our membership. And I'm glad you took advantage of the service we have right there. But how are you doing? How's the weather out there?
Very, very, very smoky. You can actually smell the smoke in the house.
That's from the fires up there in Northern California?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, El Dorado County, Placerville, Pollock Pines area. So it's really, real bad today.
Wow, stay indoors because, I won't say if wear a face mask, but times right now we're experiencing wearing masks anyway. Just stay safe. Please stay safe out there.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've experienced where you can literally smell it in the house.
Wow.
You turn the air on and the smoke is just like you have all the windows open.
See, a lot of folks don't know. I'm also from Sacramento, California. Most of my childhood life, I was raised in Sacramento out there. Elementary schools, back in the days, were called junior high schools and high school. So I was out there way for a time before I joined a small organization called the U.S. Army. But I never had the experience out there during them times, smelling smoke in the house with fires. So just stay safe, please.
Yes, we are trying.
Stay safe. What's the name of it? Here we have LiveScan Plus More for the name of your business.
Yes.
Tell us about your business and why did you pick that name?
Well, of course, I do live scans and I want to focus on live scans. And basically that's the only, that's the only service that we do is live scans. And well, we do the live scans and ink cards. So the plus more is the ink cards. So yeah, and so that, that just kind of came to my head to, of course, use the name of the product that we're doing, the live scan. And then the plus more again is if someone needs a hard ink card, then we provide that service too.
So pretty much include the word LiveScan in your business name for good name for branding. And also people can find it a bit faster for services that you provide because they Google LiveScan, your name's gonna pop up in it. It's also your business name.
Exactly.
Good. We have certain folks out there have names way off key that doesn't relate to nothing about biometrics or fingerprinting. They might put down barbershop or something, for example. But people don't know that some barbershops might offer do live scan services too. So they might have like a DBA, doing business as, to let people know, okay, we do other things besides just cut hair. You never know. But it's pretty good. Short, sweet, and simple. How long have you been in business? Is it been 2 years yet? You're still a year and how many months, or how far are you at right this?
It's about 2 years. I started in 19, in like September of 2019.
Okay. It's going on 2 years. So pretty soon a 2-year anniversary then.
Almost.
When you started, were you doing ink cards at first or live scan right away, or how did you start off?
I started off doing both the live scan and ink cards.
Okay.
Right away. So I've always, focused on both of them.
Understood. And can you share with us your thoughts about your experiences, the challenge you had in the first couple of months and then perhaps what you have experienced in as you start to scale and grow your business. What were some of the first hiccups or challenges you had the first few months of doing fingerprint services?
Well, the hiccups and the challenges is what I thrive on. I've actually been in businesses. I've been an entrepreneur since 1990. And one of the things that I thrive on is opening up new businesses.
Okay.
And so the challenges is, I'm not going to say, like, oh my God, I like to have challenges, but I mean, that's a part of opening a business that, a new business that you're not really familiar with.
Okay.
And so, like I said, I was in real estate for 30 years, got in that business
Wow.
and really didn't know anything about that and learned as I went. And so then I did the LiveScan, the LiveScan business to kind of like do something different,
Okay.
kind of scale my hectic life down a little bit because real estate can be really, really hectic. And I thought this would be, something a little slower pace, than what I was doing. So I always tell the story is I got started with my grandson getting fingerprinted for the firefighters program, and I asked him about it, and he was telling me how many people were getting fingerprinted, and I was like, wow, and I was like, well, how much did they charge? And then he said, so my grandson was like, you literally went to bed, woke up, and opened up a LiveScan company. So basically, that's how I got into it.
I hear the same stories with other folks, including ourselves. One of our early on customers, way back in the days, said, "Do you fingerprint?" I'm like, "Yes." Coming from a law enforcement background, in the military also, I'm like, "Yes, we could fingerprint. In cars, no LiveScan." I'm like, "Live who?" We'll give you 300 people, and we pay you X amount of dollars. I'm thinking, okay, 300 times X amount of dollars. And I didn't realize at that time, which is said the price, most of the fees sometimes are from the government fees.
Right.
All right then. So the government fee might be $49 or it might be $61, something like where the case may be. I'm thinking all that money is going to us. So we get this much and the government gets this much. We didn't know it was the other way around.
We're around.
We can pay how much and you might get this much out of it. We didn't know that at the time.
Right.
We spent a long time researching about it and figuring out what was really going on. It took a long time because a lot of misinformation out there. And sometimes you get caught up in the hype like we did early on and regretted much, still regretted the day what we did early on. Still dealing with those certain issues there. But yeah, you pretty much started the next day. But in California, you just can't start the next day. You can start the paperwork. But certainly, I think in California, it might take you, if you're lucky, 3 or 4 months for machine to be delivered to your doorstep these days for California. You just can't get your LiveScan machine that same day and start fingerprinting for California. But there's a process behind it. And each state's got different guidelines on how to get the machines if they allow you to do it. Challenges. What challenges did you experience or opportunities or tasks or projects you experienced from day one where like a year later run, you realize it was another good fit for your business or some type of change? Like you probably changed your software or maybe you changed your scheduling system, maybe you changed your bookkeeping methods. What changes were you doing along the way up to now in your business?
Well, one of the biggest changes and challenges is the pandemic.
Yes.
When the pandemic came, then it was like the challenge of, okay, do I want to touch this person? How are we going to, do fingerprints and be safe for myself and my family, for the customers that's coming in and their families. How are we going to, because I was experiencing getting a lot of doctors and nurses.
Yes.
And so you want to make sure that these people are still able to get, to work. And so, how was, so that was one of the biggest challenges. And because like I said, I had just started in September. So the pandemic hit in March. So I was still kind of, I was still trying to, like figure the business out. And then, now all of a sudden we have this, we have this pandemic. And so the office that I was located in they were shutting down. I was located, in an office that had other companies in there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that was shutting down. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, my business is actually going to close and so I had to move my office to another location, which happened to be like a couple of parking lots from my original one. So I didn't have to change the street address,
Understood.
but I had to change. So I had to move the office. And like I said, so that was the biggest challenge. And, just trying to know how to clean the equipment. Are we able to use alcohol? Are we able to use what products, how, in order to make sure that things are sterilized. So that was and still is, the biggest challenge in this business is because we're in contact with so many people,
Mm-hmm.
and so so I, do the gloves, the double mask, the shield. I have the wall shield in the office, and so look like you're walking into an operating room.
Walk into an operating room or getting seen a dentist. The dentist wear the same thing: the gloves, the mask, the shields. Where it is, you're going to sterile environment.
Yeah,
You mentioned
yeah.
you touched slightly on them. Circle back to it real fast. You went from day one fingerprinting one way. You had to change your whole game pretty much overnight to deal with COVID-19. You mentioned by cleaning your machines. People don't realize sometimes how you clean one LiveScan device is completely different from how you clean a different type of model or brand for a LiveScan device. So that's something people should always go ahead and check out with the manufacturer, the vendor, and get their recommendation on how to keep that particular device clean. Because how we do in our office might be different how the other person do it at their office. Different product. Or might be a different type of film on top of the screen. So people should be aware of that there out there also.
Right.
Did you do the homework? Because some folks get started with LiveScan and fall for the hype, too good to be true, and realize all of a sudden now the vendor's doing other things to the member, where the members not really getting paid like they should be getting paid. So they should be aware of that out there. What else we have? Yes, ma'am.
No, I was just saying, so that was, one of the challenges. And I think my other challenge is not having information. It's really, really hard to, get the information that you need. And I think, like I said before, with the businesses that I started before, there was always, so that's why I was glad to see your association. There was always some type of association that you could join to have that support, because things change, rules change, regulations change, and to just basically have that support. So that was a really big challenge. Like, okay, well, who do you call? So you just feel like you're kind of thrown out there. And you're just like, okay, is there a website? Is there some, and that I think to this day is one of the biggest challenges is because every day something new comes up.
That is true.
And so, because, I'll call you. Okay, this happened to me today. What do what am I supposed to say? Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, let me call Jay, so you have to, I think that's one of the big, and that's what I would like to see, where there's more support for the vendors, because we're liable. We can be liable for things that we're not even aware that we're liable for.
That's true, and they should share this with you. But pretty much the experience I hear from feedback from my members who don't inquire to become a member, we get a lot of horror stories. If I could have, should have, would have. If I knew about this organization, then the National Licensing Association, I would have did this first, learned this first, and would invest this much money in this particular product to do fingerprinting. Because in my state, they're going to tell you, in my state, I can't do what I thought I could do. They didn't tell me that. They just told me the machine. Or, just different stories. And then you have one yourself, matter of fact, share the base, but not the details. But what about your experience early on, and what did you change recently as you start to grow and scale your business? What did you have to do? One of your horror stories.
Well, my I wouldn't call it a horror story, because you always learn.
Frustration.
So frustration, challenge, but you
Challenge.
learn through the good and the
A
bad.
coachable moment. How's that sound?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, so I mean, when I very first opened the company, I went to a vendor that I'm going to say I did learn a lot because the support was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I had, some really, really harsh wake up, calls. What I was being charged was very expensive. And I kind of, worked that in my head like, well, I would have to pay X amount of dollars if I had, this. So, I'm still, I'm fine with the cost, but it became a control thing. And
Understood.
I was like, okay, is this how this business works? And so, and it became to where it just got totally out of control. And so I had to add another vendor, to my business. And so, like I said, again, I'm not saying that it was challenging when you're going through it, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
learning lesson, and it's a learning
Understood.
too. And so there were days that I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I was getting, hung up in legal things. And so I was like, okay, this is not because like I said, I've been in business since 1990. So I'm always trying to make sure that I, you know, covering as much as I can. But again, what I ended up doing is, adding another system through another vendor. So I do
Understood.
still have both of the vendors. So,
Understood.
mhm.
What saved you is your prior business experience and realizing like a little voice in your head saying, this is not right. This should not be normal. But to a lot of folks, they think it is because they have no other prior experience or another insight or resource to go to, not realizing what the path they're on right now is really not the best business model for their business. It
Right.
might be a good business model for the vendor, but it might be the best business model for your particular business out there. So just keep that in mind. So don't fall for the hype. Do your homework, do your research, ask questions, keep
Mhm.
asking questions. Something ain't right, investigate. That's something that you did quite well. And I was very happy to hear what you're doing and the solutions you came up with to get the issues redressed.
Right.
Also, it's a good thing you have a very supportive representative from the Department of Justice too. That helped you out a lot too. So good shout out for DOJ out there for California because they do take care of the vendors out there. Work with DOJ the right way. They work with you the right way too.
Right.
Much.
Right.
Yep. It's a good shout out for them. Your
So yeah,
first.
I ended up, in a better position and keeping it moving.
Good. Good. Do you remember your very first client, paying client?
Yes.
Okay. How was it?
My my very first one was um, I have like I call bonus kids that I like adopt, as my children, and they can be like um, the waitress at the restaurant, someone I met at the grocery store, and it was one of my bonus kids.
Wow.
It was a friend of theirs, and he was getting his real estate license, and I, at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the mobile thing because I'm, coming from real estate, so I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
running around, and so I met him at well, I was going to meet him at his job. He worked at a car dealership, and then I was like, okay, this is not going to work. So I got another location and met him there. Did his fingerprints. Of course, I'm like nervous, like, oh my god, okay, what am I doing? And so I got his fingerprints, and it was rejected.
What?
And I was like, rejected. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm like panicking, and and to know have that contact, that personal contact with the
Mm-hmm.
person that referred him over. Of course I wanted to do, make sure everything went through. And I don't know exactly why it was rejected, but it wasn't his background. So I had to have him come back and redo it. So I was, that was my first one. And My first one was
The
rejected.
very first date was rejected. Very first connection was rejected.
Was
What
rejected.
was
I
the
was like,
reason, Max? What was the reason why I got rejected?
well, that's normally something that they, because he just got the letter from the Department of Real Estate
Okay.
saying that the fingerprints were rejected, but I can't remember the details.
Okay.
But I just remember trying to get through. Okay, what's a resubmission? How do you do a resubmission? And that's where the initial vendor came in, because I did have a support. I did have that support right there. I can pick up the phone and I can call. And so I cannot take that away from the first vendor,
Good.
the initial vendor that I got, because you can just pick up the phone, and call. And so they kind of, calmed me down, and we got, I got through it. But I was like, rejected. What does that word mean? I'm like, is it your background? Because it's certainly not me,
Typically,
So
prints are rejected based off data entry error, or perhaps the person's fingerprints are so bad they can't recognize the pattern that will make them come back a second time and do it again.
right.
So it'd be different reasons why, especially right now in COVID-19, a lot of people washing hands a lot of times throughout the day. And the ridges wear down after a while, especially those in the medical field, the chemicals and stuff, the skin starts to roll away over the course of time. So it does happen. It does happen. Now, with your first client, did you keep your first receipt, first dollar, or anything at all?
No, I didn't. I was actually looking at one of your videos on YouTube, and a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I keep that? So I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can find something so that I can frame it. Yeah, I just saw one of your YouTube videos I was looking at.
So I'm asking this question myself, and we can't find ours, because way back in the days we were taking cash. This was before COVID-19. We're taking cash, and we're giving out receipts for every single thing, very itemized. And as we start to scale the business, like, this is crazy. First of all, let's quit doing cash, because I'm tired of giving out change. You waste too much time giving out change, but we have a whole bunch of receipts. It might be there's someplace buried, but for those watching the session now and just getting started, we recommend having some type of merchant service account. Credit card payment is a lot more efficient and faster in processing your applicants. And you can keep your digital receipt too, because always in the history there too.
Right. Yes, I can't even remember how he even paid at this point. He probably had to pay with cash, because I don't think I had anything set up. So I don't even know if I gave him a receipt. It's like, did I give him a receipt? Well, you know how to find me if I. So, but he, he ended up getting everything done.
Yep. What do you find yourself repeating to the customers on a regular basis? Do you tell them a certain way of standing, or you tell them certain procedures? Is it something you repeat to them on a regular basis that you find yourself saying constantly for every new customer comes to your office for fingerprinting?
Please do not wipe the hand sanitizer off. Because usually you put the hand sanitizer on, and as soon as you put the hand sanitizer on, they're going to either put their hands in their pockets, or they're, the guys will put their hands in their pockets, and the ladies will start doing their hair, and I'm just like, okay, now your hands are not sanitized. So I'm gonna have to, so I have the guys come in, and I have one regular customer, and, he comes in, and I'll put the hand sanitizer, and he'll just stand up there with his hand, with both of his hands up, like he's being arrested. And he goes, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move until you tell me to move, So I said, do not touch anything until you touch that green screen, so especially, in today's pandemic. So that's something I just told a customer, I'm going to put a sign up, do not touch anything after I sanitize your hands. So
some customers, some clients, some members do that. Put a sign up, please don't touch nothing. Let's follow our instructions, and we go from there. I find myself constantly, first come in, we're gonna clean your hands, disinfect your hands, and don't touch nothing at all until we give you instructions what to do next. So keep your hands to your side, until we give instructions what to do next. Or else they're trying to lean on the table. They're going to try to
Right.
put the coffee cup on the table or something like that there, where the case may be. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So a lot about hands and, keep everything sanitized and disinfected along the way. Even it's also best practices too. It really is.
And one of the other things, we take temperatures. We take the temperature before they enter into the office. And so we have like a thermometer that's on a stand.
Okay.
And a lot of times, especially the ladies, they'll come and they'll start taking their masks off. And I'm like, don't take your mask off. Why are you taking? And they're like, you want to take a picture, right? I'm like, no, we're not taking your picture. This is the thermometer.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, okay, you want to take a picture, right? No, we don't need your picture. We just need your temperature. So
all those TV shows that there's certain states do, but not all states. I'm going to start back to the question here. Should you have multiple merchant accounts? Early on, I say one is fine. And please let it jump in any time. But as you scale your business, you might want to have more than one. And this for different reasons why. But early on, you should have at least one. And I think my first choice for starting off in the organization or doing thing would be Square Capital, which used to be owned by Google, I believe. You can pretty much start doing merchant services with Square the same day, within an hour. Drive down to Best Buy, pick up a little chip, and they can mail you one also. You can start doing merchant services within 1 hour, within 10, 15 minutes if you go through Square. There's others out there too, but early on I recommend Square. Has a lot of pluses to it, a lot of bells and whistles you can use down the line.
Right. That's exactly. I mean, I started off, I think, with Chase, and then that became like a nightmare. And then I went over to Square. Like I said, Square has a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of different things that you can use. I like, you have your reports. Daily reports come out. You have your calendar that you can use. So there's a lot of different, the only challenge I'm having with Square right now is, and I don't know whether there's something in the back office that's going on, but normally you call the customer service people are right there. They help you out. I've always given them, like, oh my God, you guys are one of the best customer service. The last few weeks, the phone is just ringing and ringing and ringing, and no one is answering. And I'm like, okay, did y'all just disappear? And I don't know whether there's updates that's going on or what's going on. And so they're doing the, we'll call you back.
Oh, that's not fun.
And so I'm, of course, in this business, you can't just call me back because I don't know whether I'm going to have a customer, when you call back, And so, of course, when they call back, I had customers. And so.
Isn't that the truth? They wait. They got a little camera someplace. Okay, customers there now. Let's call right now.
Right. I don't even understand that whole concept with customer service. So. Because I'm calling you as a person that's paying for your service, I'm calling you now because I'm available now, but you want to call me at your convenience. So something is not right with what's going on with these. Square is not the only company that's. So I'm hoping that that's not what they're going to, kind of go towards. That they will be available because I'm telling you, in the past they have really. Had top-notch customer service.
I think they're going to be all right because they're too big to mess up. Once a lot of things that happen with servers or rapid growth, a lot of things are changing right now. We just don't know.
Right.
When I did, I post a link here. People go and check it out, and it gives you free transmission fees for the first $1,000. The association is the affiliate of Square. We do recommend to our members because it's ease of use, and we use it ourselves, and we recommend the service that we use. So check out this link right here. If you guys see it on the screen in front of you, write it down and check it out. I think the first $1,000 is transmission. The fees are free for the first $1,000. It might change. You're looking at the session here, but just check them out and see.
Yeah,
Check them, see.
I love them. I like I said, you can buy the terminals that you can print out a receipt for your customer right then and there,
Yeah,
and and I always staple that to to their paperwork, and
yeah.
because they're like, am I going to get a receipt? And you can with the Square terminal, you can print it out and give it to them, and that has your company name and everything on it. So yeah, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. And
This is
so,
more it is. It's pretty good. This is how it looks, folks. This is one
mhm,
you could purchase. I think it's like $1.99 or $2.99. I'm not sure, but it's good. It's worth it. It really is.
probably about 1 night because I don't think I
$1.99.
paid.
Okay.
Probably, yeah, because I don't
As of
think I
this
paid.
session, it could change 10
It could
years from now.
change. Yeah, yeah. Let's not say exactly what.
Yeah, but it could
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
Um, what's your plan, your game plan for the next 12 months from now? Do you have a plan, a projection where you see yourself in your organization a year from now?
My game plan is I'm hoping to open up multiple locations, and so that's the plan that I have.
Okay.
And so in order to you know I'm getting these notifications on my phone. So, but
It's frustrating sometimes. Yep.
uh-huh. And so that's my goal, so that I can eventually have people working the locations, and I can do semi-retirement. So that's my goal.
That's good. How many locations do you vision to have this time next year?
Because you have to get your approvals through DOJ,
Correct.
for each one of your systems. So it's going to depend on how many approvals they're going to allow me to have at one time,
Correct.
and and then how much, you know, your provider is going to charge you for the systems. That's one of the things people don't realize, these behind the scene charges and costs.
That's right. Transmission
And
fee.
yeah,
And
and your equipment, that you have to purchase, the live scan, actual the device is
yep,
very expensive.
device,
So
the software, everything out there.
mhm,
Yep.
yeah.
And for those who
So
just not tuning in California, now they require to have at least a 6-month period wait before they consider you to get a second or third or fourth machine.
mhm.
Early on, it wasn't like that, but now it is, and it makes sense too. And now it is. But this only applies for California. Each state has different guidelines for those states that allow the individual to have their own live scan business. Each state has different guidelines out there.
Mhm.
Um, let's see here. Customer testimonials. We talked about that before we went live here today. You mentioned that you ask for customer testimonials now. What things come to mind, what you could do to get more customer testimonials? Because you mentioned you have Square and they have a service for things like that too.
Yeah, Square has, I have people that will leave, you know, their reviews on Square, but I haven't actually figured out how to put the Square reviews on the website. When I did speak
Understood.
with the Square representative, he just said, "Oh,
Yeah.
those reviews are for you to,
Mm-hmm.
for your company to see." And I was like, "Oh, well, I
Yes.
would like for, the public to see them." So right now, I just have Google, and
Smart.
so
Smart.
Google, reviews will show, online.
And I'm glad you said it too. A lot of folks use Square, so I got my reviews on Square, which is okay, but nobody sees them but you. Once you're gonna copy and paste them, and by
Right.
you having through Square Business, which is a free listing, you get your reviews there. And this is for folks out there also listening in. As a nugget for you guys, have some type of thank you system, automated reply system, type of email campaign or text messaging campaign. When they leave you guys place of business, try and engage them that same day if they're in a good mood, of course.
Hmm.
Within the next 12 to 24 hours, ask them for the next 4 to 12 to 24 hours, I'm going to say, for a review and text them or email them a link they could click on to go straight to a particular page where they can leave a posting on your page for the review on your Google review page or your Yelp, where the case may be. And it does work. Because sometimes they might forget, too busy, and have good things to say about you. So get them when it's hot. Take advantage of it. Yep.
I'll sometimes ask when people leave, and especially if, like during our conversation,
yes,
and they're giving me positive feedback while they're in the office. And I was like, oh, can you, go to my Google page and put a, review on my Google page? And, they will. And I've had, I think like one of the things I kind of think I experienced is maybe another company sending somebody in, because people shop you, they will shop your companies. And the review was just so strange. I was like, okay, what LiveScan company are you from? Because so you have to, and so you have to kind of, watch, those reviews. But you have to know how to come back and do a reply.
There's gonna happen. So, there's some haters out there. I call them LiveScan Karens and LiveScan Kens. If those names are Karen Kens, not the good ones, but there's some folks out there who do certain things just because that's how they are.
Yeah.
It's just sad to say, but that's just how they are.
Yeah.
We got one more question I'm going to answer here. Are you leasing that equipment?
No, I've purchased my equipment.
Yep.
I didn't even know you could lease them.
No. Some people might call it that. There are financing plans out there they call equipment leasing, but you sign a contract where you own the machine, but you still have to pay off that vendor who's financing that equipment for you. So they call it equipment leasing.
Okay.
I don't recommend it for those folks who could afford it or finance a different way, because it's a steep cost to it. So just something to be aware of. So just when someone offering a service to you, make sure it fits your business model. That's all I can recommend. So make sure you fit your business model.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I actually got another scanning equipment. Yes. And that the second one that I got, I was like, this is not going to work. It's absolutely not going to work, because, the first thing that they said is that you can't put alcohol on it to sanitize it. And I was like, even without a pandemic, we need to be able to clean, equipment. So why would, there even be any type of equipment that the public is touching on a regular basis that you cannot sanitize? So that one's in the bottom of the drawer. So just like,
so these are the things people should be aware of before you even start purchasing the equipment. They fall for the hype, get the low rates. There's also, I'm using the word catch lightly here. There's also something behind the scenes you're not aware of.
Right.
So they should have some resources in place to assist them and give some recommendations out there who have experience in that field, some type of resource. Right. National LiveScan Association.
Like National LiveScan Association.
That's right. That's right here. And thank you there. All right there. For those folks who like what you're seeing online, please leave your comments in the comment section. Let us know. We have more good sessions like this all the time. Let us know what you'd like to learn more about. We're going to avoid all the hype sessions. Tons of those hype videos online on YouTube. We're not here for that. We're here to keep things real and share with you some good information, get you guys pointed the right direction. So please just be aware of that. And good morning out there, Ms. Butler. Good morning. Any final closing thoughts you have?
No, I don't think it's any.
Okay.
I don't know. Like you said, just do your homework. I know how I am, so the way I am, I don't recommend it to other people, because I'm just that person that I'm going to start this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll find it out and that's just a part of my makeup. But when you have places like the association and what he's doing here, you can definitely not stumble as much as, as you know, you don't
It
have
makes
to
a big
because you have
difference.
someone. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
It really
And I was
does.
not aware of the association at all when I very first started, but of course I found them.
Something I'm going to share with you now. A lot of people don't know. One of our programs we're revamping is going to talk about. I can't think of the name top of my head. To help people get started in the business.
Mhm.
The things they should be aware of. It's not going to teach them how to fingerprint, but the things they should be aware of the first few months in the business, getting started, first 5-6 months in business, also strictly for them, because there's a lot of information out there they don't know about, or they're not asking the right questions when they purchase the machines, or they might get the
Mhm.
answer and they don't understand what the answer is. When they get the quote,
Mhm.
they're not sure what they're looking at. All they're seeing is dollars and signs, but also there's other things behind those words that you might not understand. You know,
Mhm.
do you have to pay for warranty for the next year? Do you have to pay for warranty at all?
Mhm.
Questions like that they should be aware of. And for those who don't know the answer to that one, there, take a training program. Okay, then we tell those
Mhm.
nuggets for you guys. But just be aware, you don't have to get everything that's on the invoice unless it's required by the state. Pretty much, certain services that have as an upgrade or upsell, you may not
Mhm.
need up front. So just be aware of that there. That's the best thing I should have right there. Well, this
And
is
there's
not.
a lot of things that go on in business that people don't realize. It's just not the fingerprinting. You have to be aware of, how to run a business. So I think
Yep.
what you guys are doing are great. Is really good.
Thank you. Does it matter the brand of equipment or you purchase to do fingerprinting? Yes.
Mhm.
It does. Just like saying it doesn't matter what house you have just to live in, or what car you're going to have, what car money you have to do, to commute your work in, or to offer some type of Uber service or something like that, or have some type of limousine service. It makes a big difference.
Mhm.
You know, it makes a big difference. You pay for what you get. It makes a big difference. Um, Everybody here wears tennis shoes once in a while here, but for me, it makes a big difference what size shoe it is. I wear 16s. I can't fit in a size 15, 14, 13, 12, all the baby feet's out there. So it makes a big difference what you get for your system too. Also, is it scalable for your organization?
Right.
Is the vendor able to grow with you? The machines you need to have, the various machines you need to have, and offering different types of services out there. So it does make a big difference. Good question.
Mhm.
Very good
And
question.
I found that like the second machine, it was really hard to capture the prints because the person had to put their hands down a certain way. And I was
Oh,
and I was like, oh my God, you can't, really tell people how to, put your hand this way, make sure it's turned this way, make sure it's that way. I was like, oh no, we got to unplug this.
yep. People don't realize different machines you
Yeah.
capture prints differently.
Mhm.
Yep. Hope you guys write that down. Different machines you fingerprint differently.
Yeah.
Just be aware of that. And some machines might seem easy to somebody else, but someone else it won't work for like that. And I
Exactly.
know which one you
Exactly.
have too. I have a lot of complaints about the same vendor, not the vendor, but the machine. I know which one
The
it is.
machine. Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
I know exactly which one it is. So you did the same thing they did. You just tucked it away and called it coachable moment.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's down in a drawer somewhere. I'm just like, okay, we're not gonna even think about that. I'm not gonna even get I didn't even get to a point to where it's like, I want my money back. I was like, we just gonna put this to the side and keep it moving.
Yep. Let's put this away in the box and put it on the shelf like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna
So
have the session come to end. I'd like to invite you again later on in a few months I have for another session here. 'Cause I know we have a lot more questions for you down the line for sure. And for folks out there, this is National LiveScan Association, and we thank you guys for joining us today. 4 things I'm gonna share with you here: be safe, have fun, get in trouble, but don't get caught. And I got the last part from a friend out there from Whitney. Um, Linda, still stay on line for us here, okay? Everybody else,
okay.
take care and be fun. And thank you for joining us and also watching the session. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much.